running, never bothered about what could be coming. Every day we danced and life was smiling. We were young and drunk in love.
Hi babes, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited that I get to bring you guys my weeks 17 and 18 update for my twin pregnancy. Things have been flying by. I'm actually 19 weeks pregnant right now while I'm filming this, while I'm recapping the last 2 weeks, and it is just crazy to me. 19 weeks actually marked halfway to my induction date. So if I don't give birth beforehand, naturally or for medical reasons, they are going to be inducing me on October 6th, and that is at 38 weeks, which would mean that for me, 19 weeks is my halfway point versus 20 weeks, which is generally everyone's halfway point in a 40-week gestation. So that's really exciting. But before I keep talking about 19 weeks, let's head back over to the last 2 weeks and talk a little bit about what happened during weeks 17 and 18. So during week 17, I actually started taking 1 baby aspirin a day. So I take that at the same time as I take my prenatals. Apparently this is a very common practice for twin parents to start taking midway through their pregnancy up until they deliver. And it helps with prevention of preeclampsia and with blood clots and stuff like that. And you know, I will do pretty much anything to make sure that these babies get there safely and they're able to cook as long as they possibly can. And I know that with twin births, a lot of times that can be a problem. So I am taking 1 baby aspirin a day per my doctor's recommendations. I don't recommend starting or stopping any kind of medication without talking to your doctor first. So if you're currently pregnant with twins and your doctor hasn't told you about aspirin, just make sure that you ask them and make sure that you find out if it's the right option for you based on your medical records and what your doctor has to say about it. For me, they recommended 1. I know some parents, they recommend 2, but they are baby aspirin, so they are a really small dosage, and I haven't noticed anything like major nosebleeds beyond what I typically get during pregnancy and allergies anyway. So I haven't noticed any bad side effects to taking that aspirin once a day. So that I've been doing for a couple weeks now, starting around 17 weeks. The one major downside that's still happening is I still keep getting sick when I'm brushing my teeth. It is a miracle on days when I can brush my teeth without gagging, let alone without getting sick. So it's just unfortunate. I think my gag reflex or my muscles are just loose or whatever they say, you know, you get indigestion and stuff like that because your esophagus like loosens up, I guess. So maybe that has something to do with it. Or maybe it's just, you know, for me, a weird side effect, but it's kind of unfortunate that every time I'm brushing my teeth, I get sick because that's not pleasant. So I'm hoping that at some point during this pregnancy, it lets up, or at least that it won't continue after I'm done being pregnant. So that would be ideal if we could not be getting sick just because I'm brushing my teeth. But otherwise, I'm not really experiencing any nausea or anything like that throughout the day, unless I have kind of overworked myself. If I'm working too hard in the yard or something like that, sometimes I will get a little bit of dizziness and occasional nausea, but it's very light. It's nothing like compared to what it was during the first trimester. As I've mentioned in a few of my previous updates, I do get pelvic pain, lightning crotch or SPD, or something like that. I don't know exactly what is causing my pelvic pain, but I do know that if I'm standing for long periods of time, it gets really bad, and sometimes it then makes it difficult for me to sit. It's mostly in my pubic bone area and sometimes in my tailbone area that I have this pain. The unfortunate thing is that for my job, which I am going to be starting to go back to next month, actually this month because it's going to be June when this video goes up, I will be going back to work, and my job is hair and makeup for weddings, which means I am on my feet constantly. So I'm hoping that that won't be that big of a deal. I really will only be working for the next, I think, 3 months before I stop working. I have decided that I'm not taking on any weddings in September or moving forward, just in case I do go into labor early, or the fact that I'm going to be out to here with 2 babies is probably not great for trying to do people's hair and makeup either. So I won't be working for that many months, and hopefully I can just get away with some comfortable shoes and taking breaks in between. During 18 weeks, we found out that the babies are able to hear you when you're talking to them. And so I have been singing to them and talking to them a lot more, and my husband has been talking to them. He likes to get really close to my belly and talk to them and just tell them that he loves them and that this is dad so that they get used to hearing his voice as well. My mom used to do that a lot with my first pregnancy. Unfortunately, this time around things are different, being that we're in the middle of a pandemic still, and so my parents haven't been able to be around, or at least within a close distance to us. So no talking from my mom yet, but I know that as soon as she's able to, she's going to be up in my belly talking to them as well. It's always an interesting point in pregnancy when you know that they can start to hear you and start to recognize your voice. During my pregnancy with Chloe, Ryan talked to my belly all the time. It was like super adorable. And when she was born, they took her over to like the little incubator heater, whatever you call that, like the little warming bed where they do their measurements and everything. And so I couldn't be over there, obviously, because they're still working on me. And so Ryan went over there and he said, "Hi, baby," because she was crying and she was cold and she was alone and, you know, scared and everything in this new situation. And he says, "Hi, baby." And immediately she turns her head towards him as if like, I know that man, I know that voice, I know that's my dad. I've heard him my whole time when I was inside. And you know, they have a really special, amazing bond now. She's such a daddy's girl. And so I think that that was really important, that he was able to talk to my belly that whole time, that she was able to create that kind of connection with him early on. They get to hear me talking all day long because they're attached to me, but they don't always get to hear, you know, your husband or your partner. So make sure that you try and include your partner, your husband, your close family members, your, you know, whoever you want them to be really close with. Let them talk to your babies too. They don't have to get right up in your belly like my husband likes to, but just let them talk to your babies, because I think that that's an important way of starting the bond super, super early for them. During the 18 weeks, I started feeling a lot more movement, especially at night. At nighttime, Ryan and I like to sit on the couch. We have recliner couch, so we kick our feet back and lay back. And as soon as I get into that sort of laid back position, I start to feel kicks really, really low. Occasionally I feel them up here, but mostly I feel them really, really low. I don't know at this point what position the babies are in. At 16 weeks, I know that they were both head up, feet down. But I'm not sure which position they are in now, because like I said, I'm 19 weeks. They could easily have flipped around during the last couple of weeks. But I do tend to feel movement more lower, and it still kind of feels a lot like the popcorn popping or the flicks, like, you know, as if someone's flicking you from the inside. So those are the kind of movements that I'm currently feeling a lot of. Occasionally I feel like a big pressure movement where I think it's like a butt or their head or something like that. But they're not really rolling around in there, not quite yet at least. And the last thing that really happened during 18 weeks for me was that my food aversions have dissipated. And some of my food aversions during Chloe's pregnancy dissipated, like my aversion to eggs dissipated during the second trimester, but some of them, like I couldn't eat avocados or ground beef throughout her entire pregnancy. And this time around, I've been able to eat avocado the whole time, which is great. But the ground beef was a problem for me in the beginning, a major problem. But I have not had a problem with ground beef for about the last week and a half or so. We've been able to have burgers that we've made, meatballs, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So I'm really happy to say that so far during the second trimester, I haven't had any food aversions or problems with any food. So I've been able to pretty much eat anything that I do want. I'm surprisingly not very hungry though. You would think that I would be like stuffing my face 24/7, but I'm really, really not. It's actually become, I have to make myself eat because I remember like, oh, I'm supposed to be getting more calories. I actually just ordered some like of those little like protein drinks or like protein sort of like breakfast supplement drinks so that I can like add that into my daily, you know, like eating so that I'm getting some more protein and getting some more food in because yeah, it's actually been so different than my pregnancy last time around. At 18 weeks, I was weighing 160 to 161 pounds. So that's somewhere in the like 5 to 8, I don't know, pounds gained range. And so I have not gained a whole ton of weight yet so far this pregnancy, which isn't a bad thing. But it's just very different. At this point in Chloe's pregnancy, I think I had gained at least 15 pounds. And I was just very hungry during her pregnancy. I wanted to eat everything in sight. And so it's just been very different this time. Might be because there's 2 babies and maybe there's just not enough room for my stomach to expand as much. But let me know in the comments below if you were crazy hungry during your pregnancies or if you were kind of like how I am, where you're just like almost forcing yourself to eat to get enough nutrients for the babies. Okay, so as usual, I am going to read a little bit from one of my pregnancy apps so that you guys can see where the babies are and I am as far as everything goes in the timeline. So let's see. At 18 weeks, the babies are the size of a cucumber. So this cucumber is actually kind of big in comparison to what they're saying. So maybe like cut off like this much. So the babies are about this size. They're still measuring babies from head to rump. And so they don't start measuring head to foot until I think 20 weeks. And so from their head to their butt is about 5.5 to 6 inches long, which is compared to the length of a cucumber. Like I said, my cucumber is maybe not standard size, but it's what I have. So just to give you guys that visual. At 18 weeks, the babies are yawning. They can now hear you when you're talking, and they're 5.5 inches long from crown to rump and 6.5 ounces in weight, about the size of a boneless chicken breast that you're making for dinner. That's a kind of funny one. Your baby may be large enough now or any time in the next few weeks to feel the twisting, rolling, kicking, and punching around in the womb. Well, I'm definitely feeling that from both of mine. The art of the yawn has been mastered by your baby along with hiccuping, and you may feel that too. I remember feeling hiccuping with Chloe. It's such a different feeling than kicks, like because it's more consistent. So that's gonna be really fun when they start hiccuping. During 18 weeks, your uterus is about the size of a sweet potato. For me, mine is quite a bit bigger, about the size of 2 sweet potatoes, because I have 2 cucumbers in there. But normally, if you're only pregnant with 1, then your uterus is about the size of a sweet potato right now. At 18 weeks pregnant, you'll likely look noticeably pregnant since your belly and uterus are growing rapidly. Yes, I am very noticeably pregnant. It's very obvious. I even have started the pregnancy waddle a little bit some days, so I'm definitely noticeably pregnant. Remember, every woman is different, and each pregnancy, even this far along, some have small bumps and some have popped out a lot. And I'm also going to show you guys on the screen right here. You know that I love this Pregnancy Plus app, and I absolutely love being able to see what the babies look like and in real size on your phone, being able to click that actual size button and see them like they don't fit on the screen anymore. The babies don't fit on the screen. They are bigger than this in there. How crazy is that? I have 2 bigger than cell phone babies inside. It's so amazing to me to go on there and see. So I'm just gonna definitely have some of that footage for you guys. I also want to include from the Ovia app, another one of my favorites, their hand and foot sizes, and being able to see those on the screen is such a special thing as well. So I'll put those up here too. And I really hope that you guys have been enjoying these updates. I hope that they're helpful for you guys. I hope that they're interesting for you guys. I like sharing a little bit about what's going on in my life with you, and I hope that it is helpful if you're pregnant right now, especially if you're pregnant with twins, to get a little bit of insight from somebody else. I don't have any products to show you guys this week. However, tune in next week because I am doing an unboxing of my Oh Baby boxes, and you're gonna get to see a ton of cool pregnancy products in that video. So make sure that you tune in next week. Have your bell notification turned on down below. Make sure you're subscribed so that you guys don't miss it, because if you want to see cool products, you're not going to want to miss that video. It's going to have a lot of them in it. I know that I'll have more baby products coming up soon, but we've been really slow to buying stuff this time around. We are trying to work on getting Chloe switched over to her new room so that we can start preparing the nursery. And once we do all of that, then I'm gonna really ramp up my buying, and you guys are gonna start to see a lot more products at the end of my videos, stuff that I bought, stuff that I'm excited about, etc. So if that's your favorite part of the video, I'm sorry that this week is lacking that.
They were in high school when they met, and things got kinda awkward. With sparks in the air, he would stare at her in class, and she would try to act cool. But it was obvious, like, ooh.
Thanks again so much for joining. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Bye, babes.
And one day she said